Hey fam, so I'm jumping on here giving an intro to my video that will be following this. Of course, I'm dressed a little bit cuter. I have been out in the garden this morning and getting some things ready for another another video that you will be seeing hopefully before the weekend is out. But any hoot, and because I know somebody gonna be like, what's your shirt say? That's crackers. Hold on. What does it say? If my mouth doesn't say it, my face definitely will. And you all that know me know that this is certainly the truth. All right, so anyway, back to the business. So I am doing an intro to my video because when I went in on Red Homestead, to give a link to the video that I watched for some of the information that I needed as I started prepping and getting things together around our property. I learned that there is another method when it comes to waste management, and she has the update for a 2-bucket method versus the 1-bucket method, which is the one that is in my video. The 1-bucket method is in my video. There is now a 2-bucket method. So I just wanted to give you all the option and the heads up to know that there are actually 2 different methods to handle waste in case you lose water, of the 2, if you could just go ahead and go to the 2-bucket method. However, the 1-bucket method is available depending upon your resources and your situation, because everybody's situation is different. And aside from the 2-bucket method being updated, when I watched the video, I realized that I did not say anything about how you take care of your personal hygiene beyond brushing your teeth and washing your hands. If you have enough water available and you can take like a basin bath or wash out the sink like they used to back in the day, or do a creative way to take a shower, if you have that much water available to you, that is an option. However, we did not, and what we went to were disposable washcloths that freshened us up pretty good. I don't know, thankfully it wasn't beyond a day or so of having to use those before we were able to take our showers normally, or take a normal shower. But these are good to have on hand. I grabbed some from the dollar store. Nobody had any skin sensitivity issues with them, or even them impacting anybody in their personal areas. So they were good. So if you want to jump on these. So if you want to purchase it or grab a couple of packs, whether it be this brand or another brand, these are also good to have on hand to carry you through in case you ever lose water. Okay, love you, bye. Hey y'all, welcome to Sorta Homesteading. This is take 2. My first video was dry as I don't know what. I am trying to do the reason I'm doing my channel is because I have some family members who are getting new to prepping, or is kind of setting up a 2-week emergency supply in their house of goods and things that they're going to need, and they just wanted some extra guidance on how to do it. And I am actually behind on getting this video out, so y'all, I'm sorry. It has been really busy down here, and I'm a little out of breath because I just came from downstairs to bring some stuff up to add to the video. As I said, this is take 2, and I'm trying to bring some personality up in there to it. So I didn't make it to Hollywood, but I have made it to YouTube. So y'all, here, this is what we're gonna do. One of the first things that I want to talk about and tell you that you should do is start off with, so that you don't get overwhelmed, because whether or not your pastor is now telling you, hey, you need to start getting some stuff in your house, whether or not you've just been watching the news, you're battling inflation, or a combination of all 3, or whatever your reason is for starting to get into emergency preparedness, and even a little bit beyond that scale of having just some supplies in your house that we all should have, really. One of the first things, even before I get into the main subject, excuse me, which is water. If you are on medicines, everything that I have learned about being prepared for an emergency, and we have tons of examples of emergencies happening, mainly because of storms, supply chain. There has been some issues, but nothing like it was when we came or were going through C19 or CI9. But make sure that you have a 90-day supply of whatever medicines that you are taking. You need to start there. And the best way to do that is to switch from a month-to-month refill to a 3-month refill on any medicines that you are taking. You can reach out to your medical care provider or your pharmacy to see how you go about or what you need to do to get your medicine so that you have some on the shelf in case, you know, stores are closed or you can't get access to something because of whatever type of event is occurring. So please, 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 I love you all so much. Make sure that you have your medicines for a 90-day supply in your house. Okay, the next thing that I would say that you need to focus on is water. The one thing that I have learned, whether it was from prepping videos or survival videos, like for gardening and stuff like that, not extreme survival videos, but your body cannot go without water for too long. I think it's like after 3 days, some things start to occur. You can do a little bit of research for yourself to see, you know, at what point the body kind of is like really just missing water and it needs it. So you need to have a gallon of water per person in your house a day. So if there are 2 people in your house, each person needs a gallon. There are 7 days in a week, so you need to have 14 gallons of water in your house at all times. As you use it, replace it. That's the whole thing with being prepared. As you use something, you need to replace it, and you should be replacing things because you don't want to have stuff just sitting on your shelf, especially water, because most water is in a plastic container. Even though it's BPA free, that is still, this plastic is going to deteriorate. Therefore, at some point it is going to start leaching in your water supply. So make sure you are cycling through your waters. There are longer term storage containers that of course outlast this, and we'll get into that. So while we are on water, also we want to talk about water and its uses. The first use is for your consumption. 1 gallon per day per person, okay? So 1 person, 7 gallons, okay? That water will be used for brushing your teeth, cooking, washing your hands, maybe doing some, I won't do that. Cooking, washing your hands, brushing your teeth, and consumption. Okay, we'll stay right there for just this moment. Okay, now, my household within this year, not within this year, within the past year, we've lost water 3 times, and we live in the city. For that, but the last time was the longest, and we were put on a boil water advisory. So with that, here's what I learned. 1, I really like these just for consumption, and 2, I like these for brushing your teeth. It's a small little container in the bathroom that you can use. Whenever you buy these, I get mine from Costco. They are the least expensive, and it is about 5 gallons in a pack. So 1 pack takes care of just about 1 person in my house for the week. So I do like having this size. I also found that when it was time to start cooking, that I preferred to fill my pots up with gallon waters because it just went a lot faster, and I was not popping open a whole bunch of little bottles to fill up a pot of water to make pasta or whatever we were doing with it. So I did like that process, having this for that to fill up the pots faster. The reason that you see a number 2 is because I do have a couple of these on the shelf, and so that we cycle through them correctly, I just have them numbered out by row. So as we clear off one row and it gets replaced, instead of starting over at the very beginning of the row, you just keep working your way down, and the numbers just keep recycling. That's how I like to do it. Y'all can set y'all's up however you want. Now, at my sink, because I like to use filtered water to cook with, I actually didn't even think about this, but even I went and grabbed one of these to have at my sink, because I have one that has a filter on it, but when you're on a boil water advisory, every filter in your house, the tubes have to get changed, and I'm not sure if the filters have to get changed, but I do know that those lines need to be flushed and cleaned, and I was not wasting a filter, so I just went out and grabbed one of these to have at the sink, which we use this at the sink to wash our hands and to clean the dishes with, and yeah, for like a little cup of coffee and stuff like that, we use this. So this was handy. So I would say have this 2.5 gallon, a couple of those to have at your sink, gallon waters for cooking, and then 16 ounces for drinking and brushing your teeth, small task. I am going to invest in, because I was thinking that I would be able to recycle this, like fill the 2.5 gallon one back up, but you cannot, because you have to put a hole in it to get the water to drain out correctly. So when we were at the hardware store over the weekend, I had seen the Primo waters for the water dispensers, the big 5 gallon ones, and they were $7.14. So I'm just going to grab a couple of them to have on the shelf. I do not have a dispenser, so I'm also going to buy, I don't know if I want to do the pump where you just stick it down in there and you pump the water out, or if I'm going to do the automatic one where you just push the button and it needs a battery and all that. But I am going to get a couple of those. Those are 5 gallons, and they have a 2-year shelf life from fill date. And then if you want, there are big blue water 5 gallon containers that you can buy off of Amazon. They are anywhere between $16 and $20. I don't want to invest in that at this point, because that's a little on the pricier side. And I know somebody who did that, and even though there were tabs that you can put in there to purify the water, because the water was not consumed prior to that 5-year expiration, they dumped the water. That seems like a lot investment and fill time, and so I'm just going to spend the $7 to get the 5 gallon ones and just set it on my shelf and put them into the water cycling process. I mean, if you want to do that, you can. There's nothing wrong with it. I just know for my household, that's a lot of water to cycle through, and I don't want to have that, not that much. I pray that there is no reason that we should ever need the water, that much water set aside. Okay, so we have gone over water sizes, and that being the first thing that I would say invest in. is making sure that you have enough water. Now, these 40 bottles, you get 40 bottles at Costco for about $4, okay? So that's going to be, and it's roughly 5 gallons per case. I can get these gallon jugs at my local Aldi's for 83 cents, and this you can grab this size from Walmart or Target, but you can get this size or look for this size. They range anywhere between, I think I paid $5, like $5 for this size, and then like I said, the 5 gallon ones, I can get them at my hardware store for $7 and some change. But you just have to kind of hunt. The 2.5 gallon ones, that was the size that I haven't been to my grocery store to see if they had them in there, because when I went the day that I was looking for them, they of course they were sold out. Like the whole water section in the store was gone, and thankfully the 2.5 gallon size was all I needed, because I had been building my 2-week emergency supply list. And as you are doing this, this is not, I'm gonna let you know right now, this is not sponsored, but as I was learning to prepare and get us ready, it does become overwhelming, and it was because there's so much information out there, and it was just kind of like, where do I start? But when I was looking, I came across this lady. Her name is Mary, and her channel is called Mary's Nest. And as I teach you what I have learned, I will point you to the people that I have learned from, because give credit where credit is due. And bless her heart, because she has printed off worksheets that you can use to check stuff off as you go through this process. So, and this is where I started, off of her 2-week emergency food supply shopping list. And this is what I built from. And she has it broken out into categories. I will put a link to this in the description to Mary's channel, but this particular video. And then we'll start just working through this list and then incorporating it, because these kind of go hand in hand. And this is the top 15 foods to stock up on now. And we'll just keep working. I'll start posting some additional videos to get you guys through this process, because this makes it manageable, because there's a lot more that you have to think about. And one of those things is, even whenever you're buying your water, is your space. Where are you going to store it? But make sure, you know, for the amount of people you're going to have to find, this is the main thing that you need to have, is water. This is what you really need to make sure that you have space for, is the water. Now, I don't know if anybody else in the fam is canning, but if you are canning, there are also videos out there that show you how to pressure can water in mason jars that you can have sitting on the shelf, so that you have a source of sterilized water. I have not done that. I don't have the space for that. So I just stuck to, you know, store-bought water, and then whatever little filtering system I have on my counter that we use to cook with, and then we just cycle through all the other water, like I said. The other area that we kind of learned a hard, fast lesson, and I was not prepared for, was waste removal, because couldn't flush the toilets. Sorta. Wait a minute. Hold on. Give me a second. Okay. So one of the other things that I learned about that did help us with the waste removal, but I got a little nervous, because it was just like, oh, this is a long time, and we don't have that much of this, because we only collect what is called gray water during the summertime. And that is because we have a dehumidifier that runs in our basement, and instead of disposing of that water, we collect it in the old gallon water jugs, and we would use it for watering plants when we were getting the garden started, and we'll get into that. I'll do another video if anybody wants that one. Just let me know. But the gray water, we have a couple of these, not a lot, and getting the toilets flushed, we were running through a lot of gray water. But you know, we just pour that water, dehumidifier water, in this gallon and just set it to the side and mark it gray water so that no one would use it. But we were running through that gray water because it's a lot of people in my house. So on another video channel called TommyBites, so let me see, how do I say this? Where would you get gray water if you don't have gray water? Good question. Whenever you get done with this, because this is not, what number is this? It's a number 1. But whenever you get rid of, whenever you consume this, instead of throwing it away, you could fill it up with tap water and set it to the side. There's another channel that I came across. It's called TommyBites, and what TommyBites does is she gets the large laundry containers, and instead of throwing these away, she will fill it up with tap water, set it to the side, mark it gray water. So not only do you have water to flush a toilet with, but you also have cleaning solution. Okay, so that's the 2 ways that I know that you can get gray water if you're not running a dehumidifier. Just fill it up with tap water, your old containers. The other thing, as far as water and waste that we did not have a way to relieve ourselves outside of the commode. So I went out, and this is on another channel called, am I going to say this right? Rose Red, I believe, is the channel, and I will put a description to that. So I just went out to the hardware store, got a bucket, went to the Dollar Tree, grabbed some trash bags. Now, these are not the thickest trash bags. I will say that they are not thick at all, but you get 7 bags. It's for waste. And if you gotta, you know, relieve yourself on, you know, I grabbed some kitty litter to sprinkle down in there. The one thing that I did not get is this. Oh, and some deodorizing spray. The one thing that I did not get that I have yet to purchase is on Amazon. They have a seat that goes on top of this bucket so that you don't have to, and it comes with the lid, because that was another. Now, I don't know her channel, and I'm very, very sorry that I cannot bring you up, but I might hunt for you. It was after the Tennessee storms. There was a lady who said that when they had lost power and everything, she wished that one of the things that she had learned was that they should have went to the bucket method a lot sooner than instead of continuing to use the restrooms. So you definitely want to have a bucket in your house. So I just need to get a lid for this, and this is like our little pee bucket. And then you can either take that and bury it. Don't bury the plastic, but you know, or once, you know, how dispose of it however you need to, according to your zoning area. Now, my another thing that I am going to invest in is, and my husband told me about these, so I asked him to bring one home so I could show it to you, and because I wanted to test it to see. And these are, again, none of this is product sponsored. Give me a second. So don't mind the mess back there. One of the girls had a, well, not a mess, but had an art show, so we have brought some pieces from the show. Okay, so these are called Brief Relief, and there are other brands. I'll show it to you right here. Brief Relief. And there are other brands on Amazon, and in the packet you get an alcohol wipe to clean your hands, and down in here there is like a little, like feels like little pellets or something down in there. And this part right here, you pop this open. It has it like a Ziploc seal, and see that right there? So you pop that open and you position it on yourself accordingly. This part goes in the front, and then this little funnel piece down there, it let's see if I can, there it goes. You use the restroom in this. Number one, I don't know if this is, I don't think this is made for number two, but use the restroom. This loose powder down here that you feel, it turns your urine into a gel, and then you just snap this back closed and just throw it in the trash. And then that helps to cut down the odor, because that was one of the lady who had gone through the Tennessee flooding. She said, you know, that odor from the restrooms with so many people, they had kind of like us, they had have a large family, and that's a lot of, you know, a lot of waste. So we are going to, and I did try one, and they do work. Matter of fact, I want to get some for the car, because you never know. We've had, you know, snowstorms where people were stuck on the interstate overnight. So the way that the storms are going and things are moving, I think you're trying to be as prepared as possible. So the first thing that I would tell you all to start with is a 90-day supply of whatever medicine that you need. Get that in your house. Then you need to work on getting your water. You need to have a minimum of 2 weeks worth of water per person. So one person for 2 weeks, that is 14 gallons of water. And then you need to have, next, I would say, some type of way to come up with a system, and this doesn't have to be as immediate, but come up with a system for relieving yourself in case you have lost water in your house for an extended period of time. Like I said, the whole waste situation, I've been doing this, trying to get us prepared for a little over a year now, and I just now got to the waste part, and it is on the list that we'll be working through to help guide you guys through getting your houses prepped in case there is an emergency, and just to help offset the cost of food because of inflation. And it's, you know, it's a lot going on, but start there. 90-day supply of food and your water, and if you have the discretionary cash to get some waste things in your house, or if you have a bucket already, and it doesn't have to be a new bucket, it can be an old bucket. Get you a bucket, go to the dollar store, get some kitty litter. You don't even have to invest in these, they're kind of inexpensive. But the next thing I would say, even before this, is working on your food. I just brought up the waste part because it goes hand in hand with the water. So start there. Love you, and we will keep working our way through this preparedness. Again, my channel, in case I haven't named it, is Sort of Homesteading. So hit that like, share, and subscribe so we can blow up. You know what I'm saying? All right, love y'all. Bye.